And welcome. Today's not a tutorial, it's actually a little behind the scenes look at the power of the RTS program and basically what's going on behind the scenes to get the kind of reports that you're used to. What you're seeing here is actually track 420 in Bakersfield, and I wanted to do it for the demonstration purposes, show you something that was pretty easy and simple to do. And I'll show you how it works. That's the RTS program in the background. What I'm going to go into, and I've already highlighted it actually, is what used to be the matrix. Now this you'll see all kinds of different industries, but we want to focus by using, and this is why I like using OpenOffice still for behind the scenes until I get this automated as well. I'm going to focus on BNSF Edison. At the bottom I had 300 calls for 647 different invoices. So it calls invoices as if a customer calls for a box car or any other type of car, like tanks here they're calling for. So there's still 131 calls that I have to fill. Now, as I was saying, if I go back into this real quick, probably a little unorganized, but that's okay. I tried to set this up. There's 8 box cars that are sitting in 420. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to look at here, I'm going to look at my sheet, and I'm going to say, okay, so that needs 2 tanks. I'm going to fill, I know those are empty box cars because that's what my switch list says, so I'm going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, and you can see the random numbers are changing. 5, 6, 7, and 8. Now I still have to find 4 more empties in the yard. I know they're there. But for now, I've filled those orders. So now we're down to 123 left. What I do is I still have to manually write down in 420 what those are. So there's one for 139, let's say. There's 141, 142, 143, and you might be thinking, why is he reading off these numbers? 144, I am writing these down. You don't see this, it's just on my little graph paper. 148, 149, excuse me, and 151. And you might be saying, okay, that's nice, he's spewing off a bunch of numbers. What the heck does that mean? If I was to go into this, and as you can see they're all empty, and if I was to save this and spawn it, and I was to save this as 420, my train only, and I save this. Okay, so now that's saved. What does that mean? Relinquish it. I go to this program right here and I run it. So that's nice and all. It's running a program. As you can see, it's filling in all kinds of useful data on some things, and other things it doesn't really show much of anything. But if I go up a little ways here, without boring you, and actually get in, now I'm in the Mojave Yard. This is basically the entire system. And now I'm into UP, and finally, after I get through the UP yard, I come up to 420 right here, which I'll highlight as 8 empty cars. So, actually I didn't want to minimize that, I wanted to close that, because we don't want to use that anymore. What we want to do, and I'll even minimize the program here to make it simple, all those numbers I just spewed off, you see they say none. So what I'm going to do is type in those numbers. 139, and you might be looking at these and saying, okay, these are kind of useless. What do they mean? What are they going to help people with when they actually use the switch list? So 141, and bear with me because I'll show you. I'm only going to do these 8. 142, get down here. It's daylight now, so I figured this would be easier to show as well. 143, and I know this is kind of seems boring, but when you think about what kind of switch list this will produce, not only now but in the future when it actually gets a load, you'll kind of see how powerful this is, how powerful that program is, and why I continue to develop it and stick to it. Because I have certain goals that I want to accomplish, and I want to eventually pass them on to the community once I am done, which is not too long from now, actually. So there. All 8 of those, I have now left them as empties. And as you can see, I'm going to go save it. Now I'm saving. I'm doing the same thing as I just did. So here we go. We're saving 420. Relinquish that. Here's the difference. We go back into the program now. I haven't changed anything. All I did is resave it to 420. I go hit play. Okay, let's minimize this. Let's take this out and let's scroll up and see what has changed in 420. And we go, and we're already a little bit past it. And I didn't save it wrong. It's 420W, not 420. That's my fault. Okay. I have to resave that again. Nothing works the way you plan it. Jeez. There's 2 of them. There's engines in here, so I have a 420W and a 420E. So that's my fault. So that is 420 E for east, or no, west, I should say. Okay. Nothing works the way you think it's going to work. Okay, here. Bear with me. That should have been a lot simpler, but silly me decided to do it wrong. And if I have to make a change for tracks, here's all the track information right here in the program. Eventually I'll have that automated too, but for now it's actually in the program which tracks it finds in case they change. If something goes empty or something goes fills up, I can change that right in the program. So I'm going to run it again. And this time I'll get the data that I'm looking for. And you do this process. You don't run this all the time, but there you have it right there. Hopefully you can see that. But 420W that's highlighted now is actually showing where it's going to and what track it's going to. Because the same data that was in the matrix is actually in this program. Those numbers that I typed in correspond to basically what they are. See, I even got a 420 in there. Now that I see it, it's right above it. I don't know why I shouldn't have a 420 in there. I should only have a 420W and a 420E. So I have to take one of those out. There's actually a duplicate. I just noticed it above it. So, and they're the same car numbers. So what that basically shows, and I'm using the term basic again, is that 5 cars of that cut is going to Johnson Farms to track 714 via BNSF Edison, and 3 are going to Kingpack Potato Company, track 714, 701. I still have to find more empties in the yard, which I have plenty of them. They're not showing right here, but they're up above. And what it eventually comes out looking, and you might think, okay, well that's fine. You're saying where the empties are going to. Why did you have different numbers for everything? If I can show you some samples here of different switch lists. Current UP Mojave Wheeler. I don't know if that has any empties. Yeah. This is what the switch list looks like, and this could be basically from the same source, these boxcar loads from Mojave 1. But when they become a load, they now look at the consignee section of the weigh bill as opposed to the shipper. So you look here, Mojave 2 over here, they're all going to Lone Pine. And you might think, and I know for a fact that they have all different types of numbers. They're going to various places. They're actually going to go and have to be split up to various customers, even though they have the same supplier. You have major suppliers like Mojave 6 has California Portland cement right now. So I mean, this is a Mojave list, for example. If I was to look at if I was to go into a dated BNSF Bakersfield list, this isn't the current one. Remember, I have to copy that data in, and I think I already did that. Let's see here. Wrong one. Is that right? Okay, that's it right there. I've already done it. So if I go into this is the BNSF Bakersfield list as of a couple of days ago. You can see there's a lot of empties that came in on 408. So I can find whatever I need, but then you got so that's part of the old system, SJVRW. I've just been changing some of this around lately, but stuff like here where it's taking granular hoppers and basically putting them in the Barstow or West Colton or whatever. A lot of it is basically storage, or it's going to, over in this case, there's loads that are going to Barstow, Yermo, and West Colton via various means. This is some of the industries that haven't been changed yet. So that's basically the nuts of the system, so to speak. You save this for every track. All you have to do is type in that number of the invoice. And the whole heart of the system is when you go back into the spreadsheet, and I don't want to drag this out any longer than it has to, but when you go into the heart of the spreadsheet, and I've assigned those, I have 123 yet, it does so many random calls. I use the spreadsheet for the calls just because it's easier to sort, and I'm the only one doing the calling. But if you go through, it has all the different industries, the shippers, the consignees, where they're going for. And I mean, I've had some people ask me for, you know, they want this information as if I'm hoarding it. I'm not trying to hoard the information so much as I'm trying to keep the intellectual property of what I'm developing kind of something that I can develop by myself for now, for at least the next month or two. And then this will be released either directly to the community, or it will be it'll be set over to the Run8 team themselves, and they can choose whether or not they can implement, or I might be doing both. I might release data and the program, because you know, Run8 can eventually put it into their programming, and as well as I can give the information to the community, because I'll be done hosting the server. At that point, there's no you know, there's no more development on my end other than the program itself. So hope you enjoyed that behind the scenes looks. We'll talk to you later.